Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box, the Technical Trader at TechTrader.com. It's Thursday, May the 10th. And these are the charts of the day. Well, it was another good day in Wall Street following yesterday's mixed consolidation day. So the rally marches on, and a lot of stocks are responding. Matter of fact, quite a few breaking out. Starting with biotech Aptivo, APVO. You can see that it was sitting in a consolidation flag for a couple weeks and popped out today with a nice pop of 14% on 700,000. Not huge volume, but the biggest volume in weeks. So for this stock to extend, I think possibly we're going to see 6 and then 7.5. Those are my targets going forward. ARRY may have bounced off key support today. Lateral price was a support, and the trend line as well, with a big reversal, gaining 75 cents or 5.5% on a solid 8.6 million. That's the biggest volume since February. Resistance right now is 15.5. We get through that, we're looking at 17 and 19. ASUR, like the stock so much today, I put a swing on it. This is broken through a double top with good volume on the upside. You can see the stock surged today. A nice run that could take this down up to the mid-20s. Box is overextended. I just wanted to show it to you. Through the top of the channel, it's been up for like 8 out of 9 days or 9 out of 10 days. It's really looking strong in terms of momentum, but careful because this could reverse at any moment. Nevertheless, it doesn't get much better than that right now. CERS broke out yesterday, and we followed through nicely today. You can see their beautiful rising channel. Today's volume was still solid at about 2.7 million, and it gained another 18 cents. That's up about 3%. Nothing huge, and it did back off the high, but I would look for eventually the stock to get 7.5. COLL, that's one of my favorites. Broke out of a big 3-month kind of wedge. Not only bopped across the declining top line of 50-day moving average, but also took out the prior high and then pulled back near it. I'm looking for follow-through. Next target would be a test of 28, 30, and then I'm looking in the mid to high 30s. Depot, DEPO, jumped to $1.38 that he broke out across the declining tops line as well in a big coiling or wedging type pattern. You can see it popped and closed very well near the upper end of the range. And for me, this has got the potentiality of seeing about 790 and then up around 9. EGHT surged another 75 cents and is extending the run lately after the breakout above 20. I'm looking for something around mid-20s. ENPH popped out of a coil as well, consolidation. Volume picked up beautifully to 4.7 million. I'm looking for this to get up to about close to 7. 6.5 perhaps, 7.75 maybe. FSNN popped out, volume picked up. They made a nice accretive acquisition yesterday. For me, I like the way it's looking. I think it's going to test 660 and then 7.5, 7.75. Green Dot, a powerful surge today, closed at the upper end of the range for a 927 gain, or almost 15%. Volume was 1.6 million. Hasn't traded much more than that ever in history. So it's a real big volume breakaway. I would probably look for the stock to make an attempt at a move. Let's change the angle of ascent and make it look like that. So long term or intermediate term, this could very well be in the zone up around the first 80 range, and then we'll see where it goes beyond that. Legacy continues to be phenomenal, but the swing worked out very well. It's now up 5 days in a row and gapping nearly every day. There is resistance here, and the target was 8, reached 796 today. If it does consolidate, fine, but I think the stock still works its way higher and eventually gets in the 11.5, 12.5 range. OCUL, swing trade, head and shoulder bottom, still intact, and the coil broke out, pulled back, broke out again, pulled back. Here's the bottom line. It's got to get above 735.40, then I'm looking for 8.25 and as much as 9, 10, etc. QURE back on in a saddle, so to speak. This is holding nicely above support, consolidating that zone, but today it spiked up 250 or 8.5%, and it's at the highest close we've ever seen on it. My targets remain 35.6 and then 40.42. Regenix Bio, nice follow through to yesterday, but it is at the top of the long range channel. Unless it accelerates here into the low and mid 50s, it may get a pullback. Nevertheless, it's very strong momentum on that too. Solar stocks are doing great with the new ruling in California. Run exploded today for $1.67 or 17% and traded the highest volume ever traded, 9.2 million shares. It's at the top of the channel, but momentum's enough, I think, to carry this one towards 13. Solar stock SEDG, which is more of a supplier of products for the solar industry, broke out of a wedge last week, pulled back for a couple of days, and then blew through it today with a 920 gain or 16.5%. Very heavy volume. Now, anytime we see that kind of a move, you often get some momentum play further. There is resistance at the top of the long-term channel, but I'm thinking that this stock is going to take a different path, perhaps on that angle, as we see this now is a new rising channel angle right there. So I'm not going to be surprised to see this one make a move up towards mid-70s. Supernus poked its head out to new all-time highs and then backed up, but it still closed solidly up at 195 or 4%. The volume's picking up as well. OBV's looking better. I'm looking for this stock to make a move. I think 60 is your number. Solar ETF 10 broke out of a wedge today, and it's telling me that the group and a whole group in itself might be rolling. First Solar did well too. This one looks to me like it's going to challenge the 26.5 to 6.75 range, but my target is going to be up here near 29. Twilio, after the major base breakaway gap, pop, wedge, and now another breakaway or running gap today. Not quite an exhaustion gap, but I think because it's near that top of the channel and has moved already from 23 to 55 in the last 3 months, perhaps we get a pullback consolidation in that zone. Nevertheless, there's a possibility that if it continues to move, I'd have to give you a target somewhere in the mid-60s. Upland Software did great today. He exploded all the way up to 33.5, but backed off to 31.60. Nevertheless, up 234 or 8%. Volume was solid, as big as I've seen. And OBV's making new highs, confirming the trend. I think the stock works its way up to the 37 range. Old Swing USAT broke out of its multi-month consolidation there. Yesterday with a breakaway, today with a move up to the top of the channel. Now, it may accelerate here, but 12 was my target, and we reached 1220 today. So watch for a pullback consolidation or a momentum surge towards 14. Security stock VDS is going ballistic. You can see the inverse head and shoulder bottom neckline breakaway move right there. And since then, it's just literally gone from 12.5 to 20 in the last 3-4 weeks. So it's extended. My target remains 22-ish, but it may pull back and consolidate at any moment. Swing trade VICR broke out of its wedge last week, and it's extending. I'm looking for a move up towards 41, 42, maybe a little more. And finally, V-Ray had broken out of a wedge there last week, pulled back and flagged for 3 days, and started to move yesterday. After hours announcing great earnings, the stock exploded all the way up to 9 and change before backing off and then bouncing. So right now, after hours at 8.57, is up about 80 cents, 83 cents. So we'll be watching this one tomorrow. So if there's a follow-through, it may start to move, and I look for a retest at that triple top around the 10.25, 10.5 range eventually. And that's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening. Bye now.